to etch our stories on a cave wall, to, for example, the perspective invention during the Renaissance period. These are all technologies, and they do make us better, faster, and also more creative in a way. Now let's take a look at all this. I think all technologies are somewhat material for us as artists to explore. So let's take a look at what I used in the past. So just the sculpting material, for example. So the very first sculpting material that humans used probably was water-based clay, because it's very malleable and easy to use, easy to find, it's everywhere. But the problem with this thing is time sensitive. So you cannot sculpt it and leave it for a long time, or doing multiple sessions with water-based clay. So in a way, this was the initial technology. And then, because it has the limitation of time limitation, so human invented something like wax or even plasticine in the future. So wax-based clay, it makes us, allow us to work on it on multiple sessions, but it also has its own downside. Basically, it requires the use of heated tool to work with. When I was working with wax, it's very tough because you need to have like a heated gun and stuff like that, or something to carve with. So in the year 1897, a man named William Hubbard invented plasticine. So it's kind of a compromise between wax and also water-based clay. It allows us to sculpt in a multiple session, yet it's very, very malleable as well. It requires heated tool, but not too strong in a sense. But both wax and also plasticines definitely are not suitable to create like a final product, because they do melt at higher temperature. So in the year 1939, we invented polymer clay, which we can sculpt using the thing to bake and then create a final product. So what I'm giving you here is just an example of technologies and how us as humans invent each one to solve certain problems. Of course, all these are still usable today. So in the year 1999, there's another clay coming along, which now is a digital clay. This one was invented by the man called Arthur Allen, and this program won academic award for technical achievement award as well. And it doesn't require physical clay anymore, but what it does is using the digital clay or using computer to do so, and the input no longer using your only hand, but using like a pen tablet instead. So here are some of my work. So it's quite primitive because it's about nearly 25 years ago. So, and here are some of my works. The digital sculpting tool allow me to work almost like breakthrough of the physical world. I can sculpt without blocking out the shape. Like for example, normally I would have to create a wire structure, this and that, and having to worry about the gravity problem and stuff like that. So here are some of the works. And these are all digital render at the moment. So almost like a digital clay. Like that. But you can also take what is digital and turn into physical rather easily nowadays. This is nothing new now. We call this like 3D printing. So in this case, I turned the digital sculptor into physical thing, using the 3D printing, using the resin, and then from resin made the mold and then cast it into bronze sculpture. So here are some of the works during the time. So it's kind of fun to always integrate technology, art, and stuff like that, and to create something. So these are some of the objects. So these are some very heavy, like this one about, I think, nearly 100 kilograms. So these. So now we're taking things from digital all the way to physical world. So this is very simple. But what I'm talking here is that it's not a one-way street anymore. Nowadays, you can take what is physical and also turn it into digital. Like yesterday, we see a project very interesting by, I think you doing the ceramic and then scanning, bring it back. So physical and digital will kind of collide in a way. So in this one is the project that happened during COVID-19. I did an exhibition in Nan province. And then I realized that during that time, all the galleries, 6,000 galleries across the globe, got shut down instantly and no way to experience art anymore. So I decided, well, maybe what we should do is trying to create like an alternative in a way. So this one I created using the photogrammetry to scan my own sculpture and then made it into like a twin exhibition. One side is physical, one side is the digital. So this one, these are all the structures. So I create a very simple one. So like for example, a single sculpture, more complex, and all the way to the most complex one, and see how scanning works. So this one just got published in a Scopus journal as well. Should come out next year. So this is the first pass of the scanning. So very rough, took about nearly 6,000 pictures and then turned this into like a virtual environment. And nowadays the technologies go so fast, you can use like the Gaussian splattering and stuff like that and make it even better than this, because this was the year 2019. So the black parts are, could not scan very well. So I had to enhance it and then fix it somewhat. And this is the second pass of the fixing. So everything turned into the almost like a digital twin. But of course, I have to worry about the polygon count and stuff like that in order to make it real-time presentation. Okay, so after this, I made lighting and everything in Unreal Engine 5 and then tested against the actual exhibition and the digital twin. So this was the final result. So in a way, when you go inside, you can actually see the light reflections, things like that, and also you can actually grab the objects. So you can do things that you cannot do in real world, but you can do so in here. And also it kind of gives a new perspective into art viewing. So you don't have to go there. Of course, if you can go there, it's great, but during that time it was the COVID-19 lockdown. So it's an alternative of viewing gallery or exhibition per se, like that. Okay, so after I try out these in this exhibition, I realized that maybe there are some good ways to create artworks in virtual reality as well. So in the fourth segment, I will talk about the virtual ways of art making. Okay, so I explore four programs. One is the Quill by SmoothSnap, second is Gravity Sketch, and the third is Medium by Adobe, and the last one is QBrush, which is now OpenBrush. So this is the very first one. It was presented at the Osaka IEEE VR. So it captured the moment. During that time, my wife got pregnant, so what could be a better subject to do so? So during that time, I had a dog, Siberian Husky named Paris, and we took a short trip to Pattaya or something. So I decided to recreate this moment and then made it into a small research project and in Hotel California. So this was a very fun, and it took me only about 60 minutes, about an hour and a half to do so. And then after my wife donned the headset, she enjoyed it. She said, wow, this is very interesting. And I tried to capture little tiny details and stuff like that. And the dog salivating, getting ready to go to the beach. So the next one is the Gravity Sketch. So this one is a bit more mechanical now. And this one allows me to create, similarly like Quill, but create things like modeling that each one of these took about 15 minutes to create. So very fast. So like I said, each technology that comes along allows us to create faster, better, and leave room for us to, explore our creativity. This one. So after I published a few of these online, Gravity Sketch asked me to do like a big poster for them. During that time, they had like a SIGGRAPH kind of thing. So you see the process. It's very intuitive. Like I can create a sketch first and then use this tool to create things. Very, very intuitive. And you can do it in, how to say it, like a real world scale as well. Like that. So I'll be sharing these, and then maybe at the end of the 20-minute section, you can ask me any of these segments. So I think it gives room for you guys to know more, because I don't know which part you enjoy, which part you do not, so something like that. So this is how I look like when I create virtually. So I look like a blind person. And then this picture was taken by my wife, and she said that I look like a madman, a mad scientist sculpting away. This was during the time I was testing out the program called Medium. During that time, it was still under Facebook. During that time, it didn't change the name to Meta just yet. And then, but now, the software was acquired by Adobe. And then I became friends with the author of the software through a very interesting mean. I'll show you later. So here you can see that I can sculpt. Like this one was one of my tests. Yeah, sculpting, you can see that it has sound. And the software is very interestingly created because it tried to mimic real world operations. So it made the software very easy to use. I was able to sculpt in this within probably 20 minutes of learning. There are only 8 tools in this software. So just pushing, pulling, sculpting. So very easy to use. So you can see, we can add detail. And then when you melt away, you can almost hear the sound of firing, like something like that. So I published a few of these, and then I started doing a real project. Normally I do some kind of like testing myself and then creating something real for making money, of course. We can just live by practicing. So I create testing this for 30 days straight. I set my time about 30 minutes a day, sculpting away one each head, because I wanted to learn different features of the software. How do I create hair? How do I create horn? How do I create teeth? This and that. But I have one subject, which was the ogre or ghosts and ghouls from around the world. This this set was exhibited in Singapore, I think last month, something like that. So like Japanese, Chinese, all that. So it's kind of fun, so fun and game and everything. And the last piece that I created, this one from Indonesia. I went to Indonesia and very intrigued by the design as well. So you. And then the last piece, I decided to do something about my own literature. Not my own, of course, Thailand's literature that was derived from India, Ramayana to Ramakian. So it's the 9-headed ogre that during that time I was asking, because I was seeing almost like a bridge between India to Sri Lanka, and then maybe there is some truth to this legend. So I let my imagination run wild whether if this ogre were to exist and had died in the past, how would he look like and stuff like that. So it became my crazy creation right here. So this one I 3D printed and then exhibited in an international exhibition as well. So I try to make 3 things work for me. So I like to play, testing things around. I like to work. I like to teach. So all this come into circle and made me a very happy human, I guess. So after all this sculpting, I realized that, well, VR or this technology does not limit to just physical creation. It can also create immersive environment. It can be used to create like immersive new media art. So in this work, I'll show you first. This one was a part of my PhD thesis as well, and it had won an award from an international virtual reality exhibition, virtual reality competition from the USA. And it talks about the moment when Lord Buddha attained enlightenment. And this one actually was exhibited locally in Thailand as well, but I chose to exhibit in a nightclub. So in the nightclub, you can have one space and then people would come and test it. And I realized that some people would spend in here about 20 minutes. And after they had spent the time in it, I asked, what were you doing in there? He was saying, I was meditating. So my work become transcend from normal art to a spiritual art in a way. One. Okay. So this is the exhibition, look something like that. So they would turning around. So the virtual reality exhibition allows the audience to view the artwork from multiple perspectives. And actually, in my PhD thesis, I try to explore the concept of narrative from different perspectives through virtual reality, from you as an audience to you as an actor and to you as a creator to create something within it. So there are different levels of engagement and different levels of, how you say, participation. So the sixth project that I created was now virtual reality, physical reality, and now augmented reality. I realized that I want to stumble into this realm as well because it's a fusion of two realities coming together. Because at first you have just digital reality staying in the screen, physical reality in the real world, and virtual reality where you immerse yourself in a totally virtual world. So now if we were to combine these few things together, what would happen? So this project happened during the time that I think Thailand, we had a few news about people poaching, and then animals were killed, and then the forest was getting destroyed and stuff like that. So this project, I wanted, it was a family of panther, and then I imagined that if we were to do this kind of activities in the near future, maybe less than 50 years, we might not have real panther live in forests anymore. So I imagine this would be the future panther that people would see, maybe just in a form of artwork. So this project lent itself pretty well to use multiple realities. So I create this in the virtual reality, digital reality, and then 3D printed, cast it into bronze sculptures. So that's me working, so my head look kind of crazy. And then this is the final artwork in bronze, so patina in black. And then exhibited alongside the physical world, augmented reality world. So in a way, if we continue to destroy our planet, our forest, this and that, we might end up having just the augmented reality left. And then this project was exhibited in Rangsit University first, and then it allows a new way of interpretation and new context of interactive with the artwork itself. So this one also got published. So I try to work, many of my students ask me, why do I get Scopus published like almost every year, two, three articles a year? So I tell them that, well, what you need to do is to make what you enjoy, what you play, and then document everything. By the time that your project is finished, you already done maybe 80 or 90% of the work. The rest is just, categorizing, analyzing, and then made it into a publishable article. So the seventh project nearly done. Now we are on to the mixed reality art making. So by now I started to use Adobe Medium quite, on the daily basis. And then what would be a better way to take the soul of Tony Stark and then start sculpting in mixed reality. So in this project, it was the end of my experimentation with virtual reality sculpting. So, and also during that time, I needed money for my PhD. So I think, well, I need to make money. So I need to sculpt something that people would buy. So I pre-ordered these, total of 12 editions, and they were all sold out within 3 days. And luckily, 2 of the pieces were purchased by the owner or the inventor of the software the medium. So I became friends with them, and then later I decided to create a book which just got published 2 months ago about the usage of Adobe Medium, and had them wrote me a foreword. So this was me sculpting and became an Iron Man. That so this is how within VR it looks like something like this, and the form itself took only about 10 minutes to create. So within actually the entire body was done in one stroke. So it's something that how should I say, the physical world cannot do, because when you do the physical world you have to intricately create the wiring. When I was doing the physical sculpting, you need to do the wire first, putting in the foil, adding in the clay mask. But here, I can think that what I want is the infinity shape. I can just draw and then go on, and that's it. And then this is the final result. So a total 9 normal edition and 3 AP, the artist proof. One, and this is the final physical form. And then this in the Adobe Office. So they purchased 2 different patina. So next would be gaming. So I decided, well, actually our tools are not limited to just what we are using. We can use other things as well to create artwork. So in the 8th iteration of my project is I used PlayStation to create things. This one I collaborated with a very prominent virtual reality artist named Martin, and we used PlayStation 4 during that time, PlayStation VR, the headset there, the PS camera, and the PS Move, the 2 things, the glowing things there, and they're using the software called Dreams, this one, and the software utilized what we now call the Gaussian spattling, but in here we call it Flex, but it's very similar technology, and use the Boolean sculpting or operation to create shapes, which was something new for me, because normally I would sculpt and stuff like that. So in here I had to learn something new. So I decided to set, but I need something fast, so 10 days straight, each day about 20 minutes, doing something, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 each day. Like that. So by the 10th day, I realized that, maybe I have enough skill to do something. So this is the process of sculpting. As you can see, you're just adding shape and form, almost like adding clay mask and then blending things with various strength. So within 5 to 10 minutes, you can start creating shapes already. So the only thing faster than this would be AI now, I guess. So it might threaten us. So I turned like a gaming console or gaming machine into something that you can be used for art making as well. So, and also, of course, with the help of my friend Martin, we were able to create a project together. So this one, I have a knack for dragon for some reason. So I asked him, let's do a collaborative project on a red dragon. I would create a dragon, he would create an environment, and we will create a scene where people can go in and enjoy just for the sake of fun. So this is the result. So people can actually watch or play on the screen or donning a headset and explore, walk into the space in there, and you can see a very gigantic dragon sitting there. You see the making of, so here's the making of. So everything was done inside PlayStation, nothing outside at all. From sculpting, from coloring, everything all the way to video editing, and the experience itself can be shared across the globe. So the world is no longer situated just in my room anymore. It can be dispersed and go anywhere, just like that.
So it can also, oops, sorry, do that. And it can also be, how does it play? Anyway, it's supposed to be animating. So actually you can create a character, giving it a bone system and then allowing it to animate. So after my wife saw this, well, my husband can do this, then maybe I can make use of Gomesh somehow. So during the time she had to go for, my wife, she has a food factory. And then she has a pain point where when she go into exhibition, talking to a mother who wants to buy her product, there's a little kid that would want something else, would want to play. So she said, well, could you create me a small game that I can put in my booth while I'm negotiating my deal? The kids would still want to stay in the booth, but I have only 7 days for you. Then, of course, a wife's demand is like a God's decree. So I decided to create this for her. So about 2 minutes. So her company is called Golden Peak, and she does many things from like a pumpkin juice all the way to like exported food to America. So there's a little character that I create, and then wake up, and then almost like a Mario game. But what could I do, within 7 days? So I conjure up something like this. So of course with all the company's motto and everything. So in a way, my artwork is no longer confined to my own design, because now it's maybe defined by my wife's design. She would be both the director, the artistic companion and everything. Even create a toilet for her. So all these, so the pad thai, this and that. So it won't take long, about 2 minutes. So you see entire experience. Because why it's not long, we want to keep this one only about 5 minutes for the experience. Because if the kids play for too long and the game doesn't end, and the mother has already concluded her conversation, then it's useless. So we decided to create a point system. So if the score go beyond, like say 60 or something, then the kid would get a special pumpkin juice, something like that. So it kind of like ties in with her objective as well. So she created like so now going to the kitchen, collecting some more items. So this one I play myself. I'm not a gamer, so a bit awkward. So almost there. So also this one you can keep track of the scoring. So we can have like multiple things going on. We can have like 2 consoles going on, and then using the same experience, and then who would win would get the point. So we can. During that time, I was planning how the scenario would work. The last one, come on, man. Whoa. Okay, finally. And then decide to go into the slider. So most of the time, the upper floor, most people would get the score, but this one, later on, it will start to slide because it's very steep. So some of them might not be able to catch. So that's how the score would vary. So at first they would think that I would definitely win, because I covered everything, but I couldn't get that, this and that. So it's kind of haphazard thing that happened and make people enjoy because they cannot control. Just like in our life, we cannot control everything, right? So nearly get there, 80 something. So at the end, of course, another shameless plug by promoting my wife's company. So, and then once I jump onto the thing there, trampoline there, then that's the end of the stage. So a total about 5 minutes. That's my So the last one. So I hope I'm not boring you. Okay, so the ninth one is I combine everything. So the art in the age of multiple realities. So here I pull everything that I've gathered in the past 5-6 years. And luckily I was introduced to a very prominent man in the dance company called Mr. Karnchanapayap. And one of his employees wanted to create a solo show. This was debuted in Singapore at the Esplanade. So what she wanted was to use technology to explore the concept of Ramgabon, which is a very traditional concept of, I think, not only Thai but Southeast Asia. The concept is about offering objects, symbolic objects, to higher being in hope that they will grant you some kind of wishes. So this is the project. And in the concept of this Ramgabon, rooster means wealth, zebra means health or strength and stuff like that. Monkey, who can guess what monkey is for? Monkey is actually for family. They stay together, they live in a flock and stuff like that. And crane, what do you think crane is for? Crane is for freedom, so it can fly, stuff like that. So the Mali Busha, this one we call Mali Busha. Mali means flower, so Mali Busha means offering of flower or flower offering. It combines virtual reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, and of course physical reality, because the dancer has to be on the stage to perform all these things. So this is the amalgamation of the things I have taught in the previous 8 projects. And the first thing is the virtual reality. So this one I stopped. Basically all the assets in these projects were created in virtual reality. Of course I could create it elsewhere, but I wanted to restrict myself because this became another side research as well and got published in another Scopus Q2 journal. This one early this year. So I could form the form of the zebra 5 minutes. The rest takes a bit longer. So as you can see, you can just start pulling things, make shape, almost like a sandbox. So when I see virtual reality or this kind of thing, I feel like whenever I go into the virtual world, my wife said that I immerse myself in another realm. But I set the timer. Normally I set about 29 minutes. I don't want to go over 30 minutes because my eyesight is not as great as it used to be. So 30 minutes and then take about 10 minutes break and then going back in again. So I can create the hair very easily and just drag it out. So in a way, it's a very intuitive and very fluid way to explore shape. Before, when I create things on the physical world, the first thing I have to think about was actually sizing. But when I start doing the digital world, size is no longer matter. But now in the virtual world, I can see the object almost as if it's appearing in front of my very own eyes. So I can see the proportion very well. The problem with the 3D sculpting on screen is that you are using 2D peripheral to translate 3D objects. So normally we end up with the one side handsome, beautiful on one side, but you turn the other side, oh my God, the nose is so flat. But from the front, it's so perfect. So, but in here, you will never have that problem because the only thing you need to survey your own object is that you can just tilt your own head very naturally. So, like that. And then I use the program called Tilt Brush to add the the excitement to the object. So I already have the zebra, and then now I can create multiple or different effects to them. Like that. So this one representing 7 different days, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so forth. Like that. And then the environment also created virtually as well in OpenBrush. And there are 4 corners, obviously monkey, crane, rooster, all 4 of them, and zebra. So they become like a higher being, or the object for a higher being. So if one want to offer, if you go to like a shrine in Thailand, you see like zebra everywhere, right? Zebra. Have you ever wondered why we use zebra? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know either, but maybe there's the sound similar. Malay is the flower, and sound very closely related to Malay. Maybe, I don't know. So this becomes like a metaverse. So people, when they go into this show, they can also experience metaverse in here as well. Like that. And I created a backdrop for each of the animal type. In this one, the rooster signifies wealth. So gold, showering you with gold everywhere. People wants to go to this world for some reason. And then, as you can see, the performer, Miss Karnchanapayap, she would be performing, and then the backdrop would be behind there, and also within her headset. So in a way, the mixed reality also can be used in another scenario as well, because in the virtual world, I wanted to create her garment, her costume. But what would be the best way or better way to create? Because I already have the dancer right in front of me. So I decided to create her outfit right on top of her. So the sizing would be perfect. So it's kind of like a blend of physical world to the digital world. So here, the sizing would definitely be correct. That's so very simple. For the augmented reality, during the show, at the very beginning of the show, the dancer would go around and then introducing the concept of Ram Gabon, talking about the different animal and how they symbolize or represent different things, and what would be the better way, because they already have their device on hand, so they could use their mobile phone and then scan and then understanding each of the animals' meaning, the rooster, the crane, and this one we utilize the Instagram filter. Unfortunately, I heard that they will discontinue it in the near future, so very sad. Anyhow, it did serve its purpose. For the meta realities, basically the artist, I'll show you the trailer here. So the artist would perform, this one now touring in Japan as well. And I think next year I would slate to go to Europe. So in a way, it's kind of like on the stage, it's like combining all the technologies that are readily available to us. So the dancer would be dancing. And actually, at the end of the show, there will be 2 VR headsets where users can also opt to go into the world as well and learn how to dance. So the artist would perform on the stage physically, virtually, like that. The user can engage using their own mobile phone, using augmented reality, or virtual reality. These are the headsets that I mentioned earlier. And also on the stage, this one, the artist would be teaching the audience how to dance. And also, we also have another device where all other people from the rest of the world can join in the metaverse like that. So in a way, it combines all these 4 elements into one little project, Malibu project. Okay, so I think right now we are at the intersection of a very interesting time where technology is no longer elusive, it's no longer something that is just a pie in the sky. It's something that's tangible and can be actually used in projects in many different aspects or different facets. So for me, these are just some sample. I'm sure that many artists would be using this for many greater goods, for scientists, for this and that. But for me, I highly encourage you guys to explore this and see how this multiplicity of technologies and realities can be of use to you. So I hope this presentation would give you some kind of like insight into this, and I look forward to your question. So here are some of the reference to this presentation and all the image credits to this presentation. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gomesh, for your presentation. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Or any insights, any comments you want to share. Yeah.
Professor Gomesh, thank you for showing your great works.
Thank you.
I wonder what specific environments or unique happening or accident that made you so freely exploring any concept, material, media, and any possibilities in doing your work. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. That's a very interesting question. I always consider myself an experimental kind of guy. I like to try things out. I practically try different career. When I went to study in the U.S. when I was 16, and then I stayed there for about 13 years. And during that time, I had many experiences. For example, I joined a gangster just for the fun of it, and it lasted for 13 years. Before I got out of it. So in a way, adventurous mind would allow me to sample different things. So to answer your question, what made me want to try different things? I think that being stagnant or not improving oneself is a very dangerous situation. So before, I relied heavily on just sculpting using plasticine. And then one day, I started having a dog. And it posed its own problem because dogs has so many hair, fur, this and that. So I decided to learn digital sculpting, something like that. And then when virtual reality came along, I realized that, this might be a new wave of excitement. To answer this one particularly, why I enjoy virtual reality, I had to go back about maybe in the year 1996, around there. During that time, the very first virtual reality headset that I donned was Virtual Boy. I'm not sure whether you guys know it or not. It's a great thing from Nintendo that can play like a virtual tennis, but it was horrible. I spent $300 and then I spent about 15 minutes in it, and immediately after I played for about 10 minutes, I puked. So the technology at the time wasn't perfect in any way or form, and it took years to be perfect, or even not perfect, but advanced. I went to the US, actually Vancouver again, I think in the year 2015 or something. And then during that time, I was experiencing the Game of Thrones experience. I went in there and I saw a lineup, and then people would watch, and then I saw a person went inside, and he looked like a very strong man. And then he went inside a small cage that tried to simulate the elevator going up the wall of the northern part of the Westeros. And then I saw the guy start to collapse. I was, oh my God, this technology has come further than I was thinking. And I myself also tried this one. At that time, I was at Ransit University. There was a professor next to me, behind me, from my colleague. And then I told him that I'm not going to be that weak like him. Don't worry, I'll be able to stand. When you experience this Game of Thrones thing, you would be going inside the elevator, lift up, and then you start seeing arrow shooting at you, from the violin shooting at you. And believe me or not, I was also on the floor. And then I told my colleague that please do not record this, it would destroy my reputation. So that's how I know that technology has come that far. So when the mixed reality comes, this and that, I realized that I have to be, at the forefront. Especially as an educator, I need to know what would come next. Otherwise, I won't be able to not teach, but talk to or even converse with my students. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more questions?
Thank you very much for your insights into the future of arts. I'm very happy to have heard your lecture. I have only one question, because you are producing physical art and also digital or virtual arts. Are you interested in preservation of your projects?
Yes, actually you are, you have hit the right spot.
What will be in 10 years? What will be, how long do you expect that your artworks survive?
You mean my own artwork? That's the very interesting thing, because we are in the age of ephemeral, like things come, things go very fast. So that's why I try to document everything and make them into documenta, like in the form of articles, this and that, because technology will progress. And the problem with the progression with technology is that the older version will no longer work. That's why I try to work in both physical world, digital world. At least my physical things would still persist for a long, long time. I used to work in resin, but I realized that the resin material is very fragile. When I ship things to, for example, to Germany, it gets destroyed easily. So most of the time now I would work in either bronze or the stainless steel. But also, I also very interested in the preservation of the concept of preservation, like I heard yesterday, the ceramic project. Right now I have another research project on, you might not know his name, but he's a very prominent artist in Thailand, Gomesh. Recently we have found 6 drawings of his in his own home, and then one of his offspring called me up and said he wanted to create a project. This one, I'm not sure you went there or not, the Wat Karnchanapayap, the temple, the marble temple. Right now, if you go inside, you see the stained glass window. All of them are the same, but it was not meant to be so. So we found out that these drawings were actually meant to be the stained glass window. But during the time, the government spent too much time buying, importing marble, so they did not have enough money to do the artwork. So my project is to revive his dream, but made it into the virtual reality experience. So I would invite you maybe in the next year, the project will be semi-complete in the first phase, and you'll see this stained glass project. So I'll let you know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gomesh, and also the insights you shared with all the participants. Right now, we have approximately 5-minute break. So if you don't mind, the refreshment is provided outside. You can bring them in, because the next keynote speech session will begin at 11.
Thank you so much. Thank you.